Hey guys, thank you so much for the support on the Counter-Strike video we uploaded yesterday, which reminds me, if you haven't seen it and you want to check it out, it's a pretty good video if I don't say so myself. There is a link, well actually there's an iCard up in the top right. So you can click on that and at the end of the video, it will be in the end cards. But anyways, thank you guys so much for the support on that. I'm amazed that we got over 1,000 views. I think currently it's like 1.5k views, which is a lot better than I thought it would be. So yeah, thank you guys so much for the support on that. Anyways, let's just jump into one of the staple series of my channel over the last few months. Am I the silly bugger for refusing to buy a coworker lunch? I, 23 male, have a coworker, 25 male, who is a mooch. If you get something for lunch, he wants you to get him something too, but expects you to buy it for him because since you mentioned it, he says you offered. At first, I thought maybe he had money problems, but then I overheard him laughing and bragging to someone in another department about how he is able to scam lunches out of his co-workers. And he's attempted to bully a free meal out of someone more than once. His general entitlement is one of the many reasons I don't like him. So yesterday, my girlfriend and I had lunch together. He overheard me confirming before I left and asked what I was bringing him. And I said nothing. He said I brought it up, and I corrected him. No, I was confirming we were still good, and he was eavesdropping on my conversation. He started complaining, so I said if he gave me money for the food, I would bring him something, but I wasn't going to buy him food. He started complaining about it again, and I got irritated and said no money, no food. And then I left. When I got back, my boss said my coworker complained I was being hostile. I told him what happened and how he's constantly trying to weasel free food out of people, even some of the people he knows are struggling. So my boss asked around and several others corroborated what I said. My coworker got dragged into the office and now he's pissed that I narked and how he was just kidding. Most of the office thinks that he got what he deserved, but I think it wasn't worth getting him in trouble over. Today, no one he asked told him what they were doing for lunch, and he's whining that we're alienating him. I said he alienated himself because of his behavior. He said I'm an... But I don't really feel bad that a mooch who thinks it's funny to scam his co-workers thinks I'm an... My little brother is on here a lot and suggested I post though. So, AITA, anyone who puts people in these situations where they need to do something for other people, especially when it's something that costs money, are usually not good people. So yeah, I don't think you're the A, but yeah, you were definitely justified in what you did. Don't feel bad about like ratting him out or whatever, because realistically, he did that to himself for bringing it up with your boss. So yeah. AITA for calling my wife lazy and a terrible mother. This is my first time posting, so excuse me for any mistakes I make. I'm a 57-year-old male and my wife is a 51-year-old female. We've been married for 28 years and we have one son together that is 25. She's a stay-at-home wife. She never worked a day after we got married since I inherited a company that had been in my family for many generations, so money was never a problem and we lived more than comfortably. When our son was little, she took care of him and the house. Now that he's an adult, the chores are the only thing that she does. She used to take on writing, but gave up because she said it's not as easy as she thought. Now, I don't consider myself sexist or that women belong in the house with kids. This was her choice because she never liked to work. The problem is, I work long hours and expect to at least have a dinner after the long day. We have a housekeeper that comes over twice a week, so her responsibilities are basically cooking and smaller chores. She stopped cooking and doing things lately because she doesn't feel like doing it. She spends her days hanging with her friends and shopping. Also, our son was born a female, and my wife always wanted a daughter. When he came out as trans, she threw a fit and was unsupportive. I paid for his surgery and he transitioned. She was never as caring towards him as before and uses wrong pronouns and his old name all the time. The other day I came home and she didn't do anything the whole day and I snapped. I told her that I'm sick of her not doing anything while I'm providing for our family. My son is still in college and I pay for all of his expenses and apartment because I want him to focus on school. The argument went on and she decided to throw it in my face how it's my fault she lost her daughter. This really shocked me and I told her that she is lazy and a terrible mother for talking as if her child is dead when we have a perfect and healthy son. I'm at a loss. Half of my family members are siding with her and the other half with me, obviously my son. She called me an a-hole and went to stay with her sister. Was I the a-hole? I'm seriously considering divorce. Edit, thank you for everyone commenting. I just wanted to clear up that my son has been out since he was 14 and had his surgery 5 years ago. To be honest, it sounds like you have a few more issues in your relationship that are causing you not to be happy, whether that's on you, on her, if it's just things aren't working out. That does happen sometimes. But her transphobic comments, in my opinion, I would divorce somebody for that. There is no reason to have, there is no reason to be just straight up transphobic. It's kind of disgusting. But yeah, she could just be ignorant. Maybe she's, I don't know, emotional, whatever. Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you to get a divorce. AITA for not telling my mum I own her house. My wife and I have been having a discussion and she finds it really weird that I'm keeping this secret. I bought a house prior to COVID, and so during the lockdowns I was able to get some real cheap contracting done because people needed work. I got it fixed up to rent it out, not to my mum but to just anyone. When it came clear people were losing jobs, I didn't want to rent to a stranger just to kick them out, so I kept renovating at a slow pace just to keep the house on the ups. Fast forward, I found out my mum is being evicted for not paying rent. I refused to send my mum money. I used to, and it damn near made me broke. She has a gambling addiction and drinking problem. She lost her job. So I tell her I have a friend who owns a house one state over. With nothing to lose, she found a job out of state, applied with an agent I know out there who handled the beginning part, but really it's my house and she wouldn't have been approved otherwise. I rented to her at below market rate, but enough to where I know she's not wasting all money on gambling and drinking. My brother and his son also live there. She didn't tell management that, go figure. So my wife is like, I want to go see the house. I tell her what I did, and she doesn't seem to understand that I never told my mum it's my house and why. As soon as I tell her it's my house, she's going to go back to being irresponsible, and it's bad enough my brother is freeloading there too, but this is going to be a financial burden on all of us if we tell her. As of now, it's not, because she thinks some company owns it. To be honest, your family kind of sounds like it has this like serial use and abuse problem, which yeah, if that's the case, definitely don't tell your mother. It might be kind of deceitful, but it's better that she betters herself, keeps at a job, makes sure that she's working on her finances correctly, paying the bills on time. All that stuff is much better, much better than what is quite frankly a white lie. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in that. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. AITA for having my daughter write a morbid school family tree project. My biological family is dead. I was raised in foster care, and so my friends are my family. I met my late husband in college. He was just raised by his mother, who had abandoned him and later died. No adoptive family. As an adult, I've looked into both trees, and our biological ancestors are, to put it mildly, really dangerous people and or dead. My late husband and his older son died in a car crash. My daughter is in kindergarten and she, more accurately me, was supposed to do a family tree project for school. I tried speaking to her teacher that this was not going to be a Pollyanna report, but she is one of those people that can't comprehend that sometimes family is a dark subject and insists that it needed to be biological, so I did it. Some of them, like her father and my son, I have actual information on, aside from that they're dead. But for most of my family and her parental family, I literally only have birth date, death date, when they would have had their kids, and cemetery information, unless they were cremated. It was supposed to have 10 pictures, but most of the pictures I have of my ancestors are just headstones. I made a trip to where my husband and I first married to take pictures of the headstones, so I included these in there. I only have 3 pictures total of my biological family, and most of them are group shots where I could only label maybe 3 people. I don't have any pictures of my late husband's family from before me and my kids, but I put some of the old ones in there too. So while the other kids had long family trees, my daughter was basically introducing the concept of death to her kindergarten class. Now I'm getting slammed with calls from other parents, the teacher and the principal. They're appalled that I allowed such a morbid report and saying I traumatized their children. I don't think I did anything wrong. They wanted a report on her biological ancestors, I gave it and kept it G-rated. I just didn't lie that people were alive when they weren't. I don't raise her to think that death is a taboo or something to be ashamed of anyways. Death is a part of life. Most of her family, such my family, is dead. So talking about family just means talking about death. And it's just something you have to accept. AITA? I mean, I don't think you did anything wrong per se, but that's definitely not how I would handle that situation personally. I would just make it, I would even just not do the report and make the teacher know where you're coming from or whatever. But you technically did nothing wrong. But I disagree with what you've done, essentially. I don't think you're an A or whatever, but I just disagree with what you did. But you're definitely right. Death is a part of life. The sooner you learn about it, the better, I guess. But I do believe there should be a conversation to go with that, not just hey kids, death exists, you're gonna die. Anyways, that's just, my thoughts and opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate your interaction. Again, this is like the reason I do this series. Like, I know I've said that in pretty much every one of these I've done, but I don't know, I appreciate the interaction. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Core. CSGO video tomorrow, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye.